Over the years, our family's had a share of health problems.
So prescriptions are a part of our life.
Before we went to the big box store.
We both thought it would help us save. But with the long lines and impersonal service, filling prescriptions became a chore. That's when a friend recommended D&H.
Now Tristan knows our prescriptions. Brenda always helps us find the right vitamins. And after Dad's fall, Monica's been a real expert with all our home medical needs. All without the lines.
Trust and service.
That's our D&H.
And welcome to Radio Friends. Our one guest today is Mel Zelenak, retired professor from the University of Missouri.
Great
Good to have you here. Yeah. You had a list of questions that we were going to talk about money-wise, and you still keep those questions. But you said, right before we came on, you said, why don't we banter a little bit about these the loyalty programs with the airlines and the cruise lines? Because millions and millions of people have signed up for those. In fact, I believe back in the 1980s, it was somewhere 1981 or 82, American Airlines was the first airline that introduced that frequent flyer program. And then everybody else joined in. Well, it's been a boon for the airlines, and I think for travelers too. But it can also become very irritating for travelers.
Well, and this is an area where over the years we've had a few disagreements as to the value of these programs, and I'm starting to lean toward your side.
Thinking that they are valuable.
Yeah, because I'm seeing more and more success stories. With frequent flyer, I've always been quite frustrated that it takes me too much time to get the specific flight I want or the specific day I want because it's not available on that day. And conversely, you've had a great deal of success on that.
I have not really had that problem. Knock on wood. I've been very fortunate that I can usually land a couple of free tickets. Now you got to put it in, a couple of months ahead of time. But sometimes, if you're looking for a last-minute trip, the airlines will send you an email saying, we've got free seats on this route from Chicago to Denver or Chicago to Honolulu. There are 2 seats left if you want to use your Saver Rewards. You sign up for that, and they send you that information. On the other hand, it can be very irritating because you're locked in to this company, this specific airline, and you get angry with them, and you say, well, the heck with them, I'm not going to fly them anymore. But then you realize that hey, wait a minute, I got my credit card tied to that, and I've got my miles tied to that. So they know, I think they know, that they can take a little liberty with you also because they've got you hooked on the bait.
Yeah, and that's the point that I used to make a lot, and I still do, frankly. We as you know, work with cruises a lot, and I'm inclined to do the same cruise lines over and over again for exactly the same reason. Well, you do give up some opportunities with other lines, but when you look at the trade-off, the laundry that you get for free on some cruise lines that could end up costing someone else several hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, and if you're a premier customer with certain airlines, you get to check your bags free. Well, there's 2 bags, there's $60 you're saving right there. So it's just a trade-off deciding whether you want to actually jump through all of the hoops that they offer you and tell you how important you are, but you've got to do this and you've got to do that to keep that status.
Yeah, and the other thing as a consumer advocate, what I don't like about what both of us essentially do with these frequent flyer and frequent floater programs, if you will, and the hotels have the same thing, the auto rental companies have the same thing. You kind of limit your options when you start doing that, and we are kind of articulating that right now with, you fly on one specific airline, and I have a lot more flexibility because I don't do that because I'm not interested in the frequent flyer. Conversely, I'm kind of locked into 2 or 3.
To your cruising.
Yeah,
you're cruising. So the bottom line for people listening, is it a good deal or not?
Well, it is if you understand what the trade-offs are, and
exactly.
if you do understand that we're back to supply and demand, and that may not seem to be related here, but if I can get $100 onboard credit because I can get this cruise with Royal Caribbean, for example, and yet the cruise itself is overpriced, am I really saving anything there? And same with you with the frequent.
Yeah, but the thing that gets me is I know some friends, and I know that my friend is listening right now. I won't mention names.
I know who it is, and
Yeah.
I will. No, I won't.
Flies a certain airline over and over again, but has not taken the opportunity to sign up for that frequent flyer program and is missing the boat.
Well, and you know I do that a lot. I'm probably the friend you're referring to.
But you just got to kind of use a little bit of common sense there.
That's right.
Okay. We got a couple minutes left here.
Okay,
Mel.
Paul, let's talk about some of the questions that I was going to develop here, and that was a lot of fun for me. I hope it was for you as well. Here's a true-false question. Every year you should re-examine your automobile insurance policies for saving opportunities. Is that true or false?
I think that's true.
Why?
Because...
Should you be jumping around to different...
No, I don't think you should be jumping around, but it doesn't hurt to re-examine it and see if you're getting the best deal, and if you're not, call your agent and see if something can be done to make it better.
Okay, and that's essentially a good answer. With automobile insurance, for example, maybe you should eliminate or raise your deductibles. A lot of times that will save you a lot of money.
Or consolidate all of your insurance with the one insurance company. That's what I have done. And when I get my bills, even though they're high bills, because you got the house and you got the auto, and I look at it and I see all the discounts that are there by consolidating, it makes sense to do that.
That's right. And also, if you've got a good agent, again, a good local agent, they can help you identify where perhaps you can save some money. And we've saved about 15% on insurances this year.
Exactly.
Just by asking.
If you have, with your car, if you have a newer car, you want to have that, what is that one, comprehensive?
Collision.
Collision.
Yeah, you want to have both of those probably.
And what's the one, comprehensive? Comprehensive.
Right.
But at my pickup truck, my agent said, well, you don't need this particular coverage for the pickup truck.
Probably not collision. It's not worth too much.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So, but it's important to check it. We got 30 seconds.
Okay. And the largest expense in owning an automobile is what?
Well, right now it's probably the fuel.
Nope, it's depreciation on that automobile.
That's the highest?
That's the highest,
Depreciation
yes.
on the automobile.
Depreciation.
So as soon as you buy a new car and you drive it out of the showroom, it's lost?
It's essentially 2 years old, and we can get into detail as to why. But bottom line is, if you really want the best value, and you're not concerned about status or whatever, looking into a car that's 3, 4, or 5 years old that already has taken a lot of the depreciation has been taken on it may be the prudent thing to do. And
not
maybe,
buy. Okay.
And not buy new if your priority is to get the best value.
Okay. Mel Zelenak, thank you so much for coming by. If people wanted more information real quick,
cruise@centurytel.net.
Mel, always a pleasure to have you
Thanks,
here.
Paul.
Tomorrow, Boone County Historical Society. Our program directed by Travis McMillan of the Reynolds Journalism Institute, Audio Pat Akers, KBIA. Our floor director is Eric Stazak, and our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mauser. To watch this program or listen to it again, sign up for a free vodcast or a podcast at kbia.org. Click on Radio Friends and drop me an email, pepperp@missouri.edu. Bye-bye.